Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? Just got on a few minutes early and still eating my breakfast, but wanted to make sure to get on. It will be a little bit shorter today. I forgot I have to take my 4-year-old to a birthday party. So we gotta leave in like 45 minutes. But wanted to come on. Greetings, Matt. Just wanted to come on and see how your wellness mapping is going. Is everybody doing it? Remember, you get out of this class what you put into it. These topics are pretty important when it comes to overall self-care. And so you got to do the work in order to have the outcome that you're looking for, in order to make changes in your life. So what are you doing? Has anybody that's on started your wellness mapping? Okay, so Mac, you registered late, just got the info last night. Okay, perfect. So let me just do a little overview on that wellness mapping, Mac, so you have this information. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through all of the domains, all the different areas, the dimensions, and you're going to set some goals. I mentioned kind of the most important piece is having those accountability buddies. Now, I'm going to be your accountability buddy too, because I'm going to keep checking to see what you guys are doing and how you're doing it. And if you have questions on it, it is really hard work to actually make a plan to take care of ourselves and follow through. That's the part that makes it hard, because we can do things all day long, and if we don't follow through, it makes it harder. One of the things I think of is I do a lot of professional development, right? For my license, I have to do professional development. And what's interesting is sometimes that professional development for me is because I have to do it. But then other times I do it because I'm really interested in the topic and I figure out how I'm going to be implementing that into my day-to-day practice. And so I want you to think about this as how am I going to implement this in a day-to-day practice? That is going to be the most important piece. But I also don't want you to stress yourself out to say, oh my gosh, I didn't do my self-care today. It should be something that you do, but also not stressing yourself out because of it, okay? So let me see. Let's see. I'm going to go back to let's see. So I said I was going to do some Black History, a little presentation today. And so I want to talk to you guys about Black history as it relates to wellness. Now, when we talked during week 1, we talked about how wellness includes physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, right? But how do you define that, and how do you cultivate that in the Black community? What do you guys think? What do you think about that? What do you think? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Hi, Cece. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Ricardo. Hi, OG. Hi, Boss Lady. Wellness in the Black community is rooted in African healing traditions. Yes, normalizing it. So it's rooted in healing traditions, spirituality, and collective care. That's okay, Michelle. I'm glad you're here. What I asked for the question is, how do we define and cultivate wellness in the Black community? Well, today we're doing a little mini Black history lesson on wellness community. Well, today we're doing a little mini Black history lesson on wellness. So what do you think? What do you think about? And then I'd mentioned that it's rooted in tradition, spirituality, and collective care. So thinking about how the Black community really had to support ourselves, right? Not all agencies historically were supporting Black people. Yep, we're not taught that coming up. You're right. It's considered selfish to take care of yourself. And what do we always think of? I saw this image and I sent it on. We always think of. I saw this image and I sent it on. I sent it on to one of my friends. Hold on, what did I do here? There we go. I wonder if I can. I don't think I can. I'm still learning these lives. But one of the things, it's the picture of the Black female. She has her nightgown on and she's kind of slumped on the side of the bed. When I think and I see that picture now at my stage in my life, I know exactly what she's feeling. That's right, Mac. We cannot do anything for ourselves without loving ourselves first. Can't pour from an empty cup. That's right. We are used to being burdened. Yeah. I think one of my lives I had mentioned, my mom would always say, she wouldn't say I'm depressed. She would just say I'm tired. Because using the words depressed was not something that was spoken of, right? You're tired. You're having difficulty sleeping. You're having difficulties eating. All of these different things stem to anxiety, depression, and us needing to figure out how we're going to take care of ourselves. Let's talk about kind of holistic healing in African traditions. So traditional African medicine, herbal remedies, and spiritual healing were central in community wellness. When I think about certain foods my grandmother would make, we knew somebody was sick if she made certain foods. That was the reality of that, right? But that was kind of that herbal remedy. And so that is something to kind of remember when you're doing self-care. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do all these fancy things to take care of yourself. I posted that video the other day, come for a walk with me. Walking is very healing and allows us to take care of ourselves. And so doing just that small thing for 15 minutes shifted what my day looked like. And that is just one thing that is beneficial, is making sure. Let's see, ginger ale, that's right. If you had ginger ale in your house, somebody was sick. Somebody needed some healing. Yes, ginger does. It's kind of crazy that, because of kind of how we've merged in society with different cultural things, different foods, that we forget what is the underlying things of our own culture that are used for healing. Like that's the most important piece. Let's talk about kind of civil rights. So Martin Luther King Jr. and Fannie Lou Hamer, they addressed mental health as it was related to social justice. Do you guys remember that? I'm older. I don't know if what you guys remember or how much history you have on it. But mental health was rooted in their messages. And it's something that I think we often forget. Yes, we want to be able to help other people. Yes, we want to be able to meet their needs. But what we also need to do is understand there is this mental health component that comes to social justice. When we are, somebody in one of my posts had asked, I'm a single, no, I'm a stay at home mom with kids, and I really don't do any social justice or any organizing. I'm going to challenge that, right? Because organizing is at its smallest level is directly related to your community. When I say organizing, I don't necessarily mean, you're going to be marching in Washington, right? That's like high level organizing. Within your community, there are things that you can organize. So at your kid's school, doing a book drive, doing a personal hygiene drive, doing a food drive. That is all organizing. All of that is organizing. And so I don't want you to think because you're not attached to an agency or a community program that's doing organizing, right? Political organizing, then that makes a difference. Michelle says, I organize community cleanups for my job. Yes, community cleanups. That's organizing. Did anybody's grandparents give them a table of sugar, of cod oil liver? I feel like I gagged every time that cod liver oil was brought out. One, it stunk, and two, she wanted me to be able to take it, and it worked. That's the reality of it. But yes, to prevent sickness, nope, that wasn't just yours. That was my mom, my grandma. They all of these things that they did. So let's look at. Let me see. What else did I want to bring up to you guys? Let's talk about the barriers to wellness. And let's look at this as it relates to the Black culture, right? What do you think their barriers are to wellness within our community? What do you think? What do you think some barriers are? Our basic needs aren't being met. That's right. When you look at, I don't know if you guys have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of need. If you cannot get that foundation of safety done, you're not progressing to any other parts of that pyramid. Location, provider bias, yes, cultural understanding, focus on survival. That is it right there, to be focused on survival. And I want you to think about that focus on survival is generational. So going back to when our ancestors were slaves, that is where survival has been ingrained in us. Although our lifestyles may look very different now, we still focus on survival. Asha, affordability. It's cheaper to get fast food than fresh food. Yes. That economic disparity, right? Being able to get highly processed foods because it's cheaper. when I was growing up, I mentioned my mom's single mom of five. And I, when I became an adult and, started having kids and poor, right? Or making our ends and, started having kids and poor, right? Or making our ends meet the best way that we could. I never thought about why we ate so much rice. Rice was so filling and it was cheap. And my mom could make some gravy to go on top of it. It, I never thought about that. Or when she made chili, when she made spaghetti, those things that felt large numbers of people was because of a financial burden of a mom of five. So six with her. Let's see. So, what about the wellness or the barrier to wellness when it comes to the stigma of mental health in the Black community? I'm seeing all you guys' messages. I'm gonna go back to them, but let me answer that question. What do you guys think? What is that stigma around mental health? What do you think? In the Black community, there you go, Tavi. We keep it in the house. Guilt if we focus on ourselves, and we pray. You pray your way through it. That's it. Historically, the fear of being experimented on, the Tuskegee studies. Think about that. Strong Black women trope, yes. That is also generational. Thinking about going all the way back to slavery and how, yes, we're not in slavery anymore to some extent. I feel like it's just a different kind of, yeah. But being able to be a strong Black woman can take a lot out of us. People believe maybe we don't need breaks. Let's see. No such thing. Go to church. They said, yep, you talk to the pastor. Talk to the pastor, go to church, talk to God, pray. That's it. Telling strangers, families' business, that's exactly what happens in our house stays in our house. You don't go out telling anything. Asha says, my parents didn't even allow for the word depression to be said in our house. That's right. And that is where the word I'm tired. I'm tired comes in. Yep. Heavy on the praying part. There, just to be really transparent and vulnerable with you guys, my mom, my dad, and mom divorced because my dad had another family that my mom didn't know about. And she went to the church about it. And what do you think the church told her? This was back in the 70s. Work it out. Work it out. You think my mom worked it out? No, because she left. And she didn't do it in a very kind way. She actually stabbed him. Like that's some of my trauma. Not seeing it happen, but seeing my dad hold a bloody rag on the side of his arm. Like, she had had enough. That was probably the start of my mom's relationship issues and how depression took a hold of her. She's had a lot of childhood trauma, but do you think that helped? No. Should she have gone to therapy? Probably. Did she go to therapy? No. We just moved to a different state. A lot of us don't want therapy, thinking someone else is going to tell us things that they don't want to tell them things. That's true. Here's what I know as a therapist. People share with me what they want to share with me. So I don't know the full picture of their story unless I'm being curious when things come up and I want to know more, and they're willing to share those things. Sometimes in a therapeutic setting, that there is solution-focused therapy where, you can go to therapy and you really want someone to help you figure out solutions for things. But the type of therapy that I prefer to do is cognitive behavioral therapy, where I am really looking for patterns that are coming out of the things that are being shared, and then figuring out how do we get to the root of how that pattern of behavior started. It can be pretty tricky because unless you dig into it, you don't know. So an example of that could be having a client who says that he did not have any childhood trauma. He had a great childhood, always had his needs met, always was able to do things, felt loved, didn't have any abuse, right? That's what he is, his story. And in talking with him more, so we're talking about relationships and how his standards for relationships are affecting the ones that he's been in. So one of the things as part of a homework assignment that was provided to him was to really think about all of relationships you've been in, right? And how did you meet them? How long did you date for? And why did you break up? What we found was the pattern that came from his upbringing was this high standard of excelling and doing everything the right way. And so he didn't know that that was the underlining issue to some of his relationship concerns, because he thought but he had to dig into it. Good morning, Antoinette. Good morning, Rob. Let's see. So, you guys are messaging good. Okay, let me go back. Let's see. So, you guys are messaging good. Okay, let me go back and get some of these comments. Okay, so Mac, you're right. Had a therapist for 2 years, but not something that I speak on. That's right. You have to be ready to go in. There's so much pressure. CC got me. You're not depressed. You just have too much time on your hands, right? Get it together. Get it together. Add more to your plate. Yes, I heard people say that they don't need someone to tell me how to feel. And here, Mac, here is the difference with, and maybe this is my therapeutic approach. I'm not telling people how they feel. I am helping them figure out how they feel. We have feelings and emotions for every single element in our day. And if we can't recognize them and pull them out, then we are almost numb. And when we're numb, we're not addressing our concerns, nor we are almost numb. And when we're numb, we're not addressing our concerns nor doing self-care. Remember that, okay? Stick around. Yeah, but what church? What Rob, what church you talking about? What church? Are you talking about my comment earlier? Instead of saying, so Rob says, instead of saying you're not depressed, it's the deflection of saying everybody has problems. That's right. Yep, Mac, you spot on. Rob got it. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Rob is my brother. So you see that JW? Our mom was Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't know what you know about Jehovah's Witnesses. But she, they wanted her to stay with them. And she wasn't. She didn't. And like I said, she left on the, stabbed them with a little pitchfork, you used to take meat off the grill. Packed us up in the station wagon. And then we moved. I feel like I'm in a numb stage of life right now. Antoinette, tell me more about that. Because I do feel like when we get numb or we're in a numb stage of our life, it is almost a way of self-protection. It is a way of self-protection. If I'm numb, I'm not having to address the concerns. I'm not having to mention anything to anybody. I'm not having any of that. That's the part where numbness comes in for protection. Sometimes numb is what we need. So, just tell you a little bit more about my week. I wasn't feeling good on Thursday. I'm still not feeling good today, but this week, so as a social worker, I have a code of ethics that is deeply rooted in social justice, cultural competency, equality, and inclusion. And when I tried to bring this, cultural competency, equality, and inclusion. And when I tried to bring this up during a meeting at work as to how do we best meet our clients' needs, I was shut down, told I needed to be careful. And for me, I then went to my office and I was probably numb that whole day. Okay, I cried first. I went to my coworkers and I just had to let it all out because it is very taxing on me to say that I work for the federal government and I work for the military, and to be able to say that I can no longer honor someone's pronouns because there's only two sexes now. I was stuck and I was numb because I cannot, first of all, as a person, I am going to honor you for who you are. I'm not going to tell you who you need to be. I'm not going to make you get to a place where you're trying to meet my needs. That's not what I'm doing. And to know that I can't use somebody's pronouns, or potentially I would be outing them, and they're trying to kick all transgender people out of the military. Like this week has been really tough for me. We got a memorandum yesterday that said, if we have pronouns in our signature block of our email, we have to remove them. So, no, As a clinician, I feel the same things that you guys feel. And that is why I bring it to the table, is to normalize it. Because there is, if we can normalize that this stuff truly does happen, we don't feel alone. And I can be an expert, right? Expert in this area because of my degrees, but I still feel it even more. And as we were talking about, secondary trauma, compassion fatigue, and burnout, I have been there and done that with all of those. And a lot of it comes from my work, but it rolls over into my family. And if I'm not mindful of those things, all hell will break loose a bit in my household. My 4-year-old, when I've had a stressful day and she can feel it, she gets so dysregulated. So not only do I have to model that for myself and for my clients, I got to model this for my 4-year-old to help her with her regulation. Antoinette, you said you have so much childhood trauma that you just learned to push everything to the side. And Antoinette, this is the deal with that though. Think about a soda or a pop, wherever you're from, pop or soda, right? Or Coke. Some places just call it all Coke. You stuff. That's just like shaking it up. It only takes one puncture to that soda can to get it to get it splaying all over the place. I think about that as a trigger. The trigger is what explodes my can. And while I hope that you are on a journey for managing your childhood trauma, I want you to remember that. I have had my own childhood trauma that I have had to be in therapy for. I'm going through my social work degrees. They force you to do so much self-reflection, and I didn't realize how much I still had bottled up until I'm going to school and I'm like, well, this feels uncomfortable. How can I be a good clinician when I haven't even handled my own stuff? So I want you to figure out a safe way to be able to slowly heal some of your childhood trauma. There are people in my life who I feel like have been abusive towards me, and I'm thinking childhood on, right? Are those people still in my life? One of them is intermittently, right? Because I have control over that. Right? Made some different choices. He ain't ever around my kids. No, he not a safe person for that. But most people, when we have childhood trauma, it is coming from relatives. And we make the choice. Do we want them part of our lives? And we put boundaries in place to be able to protect ourselves? Or do we let them go completely? And sometimes we need to let them go because it is not good for our energy. Antoinette, I never how to express my feelings as a child. It was a do as I say environment. Exactly. I always coin it as kids are seen and not heard. That's what I remember from my childhood. Kids are seen and not heard. Like, that's it. Oh, Rob, your vulnerability is soothing. Oh, thank you guys. I just want to make sure that you guys know that I have these same struggles in my life. Basically, respect someone's wishes. That's hard. It is hard. This is also heartbreaking. For me, I'm in a place of healing. My brother will say, that I have this way about myself and not letting people take my energy. Not letting people take my energy. I choose what energy I give to you and what energy I don't. because I know my triggers, right? And if I let you feed into my triggers, you are going to get the person that you did not want. Because I try to stay cool, calm, and collective with family drama. And what I end up doing is making the choice that doesn't get my energy. Or my brother would be like, damn. And I'm like, slow down. Slow down. Do not give that your energy. My family is the same way. If I'm not okay, they aren't okay. Yep. Yep. Oh, good, Antoinette. I would look for a therapist. If you're wanting a therapist of color, there is in different states, there is hold on, let me get the name. I was just looking it up to see how many Black therapists we have part of this program here in Colorado, and there's only 2. But it is, what is this? Therapy for Black Girls. So you go to the Therapy for Black Girls website, and they partner with therapists in all states. And you can then look to see if there is someone in your state, and then you're able to see what insurances they take, or if they take self-pay. I find it beneficial to have someone that looks like you. Someone that can understand the generational trauma that's embedded into us so deep. And people can say, well, you're not slaves now. You shouldn't have that mentality. It is part of our DNA. I don't know if it would ever leave. Let's see. Let me go back to the comments. Yes, I'm glad I could share that. And okay, let's see. Yes, Gen X. Yep. Rob says, it all starts with how you are treated at home and how that carries out with how you treat people outside. That's it. That is truly it. When I talked about that client that I worked with earlier, thinking he had a perfect childhood and wasn't able to pinpoint anything that would have caused his relationship issues. Now to know that these high expectations and high standards that were put on him, he puts that unintentionally onto any partner that he has. And that does not bode well when you're telling somebody how you need them to be. Like that does not work well at all. Guys and girls, yes, as an adult, setting boundaries with my parents is scary. Stay cautious. I want you to think about how you set boundaries with everybody in your life, not just with your parents. Because if you have a safe person in your life that you have been really successful in setting boundaries with, I want you to use the same things that you're using with those boundaries with that safe and trusted person with your parents. Because what this is going to be kind of your new way of life. Don't think that you have to recreate the wheel and do something completely different when it comes to setting boundaries with your parents. Let's see. Of course, we all need some type of support. Okay, great. You joined their email list, research them. So if you guys didn't hear, it's Therapy for Black Girls. And they have providers in all states. Like I said, here in Colorado, I was only able to find 2. But they did, maybe in more areas where there's lots of therapists of color, maybe there would be more. But definitely want you to Look at that. You also, okay, Trojan Horse. Oh, I have a few resources for that. Oh, thank you. Black Mental Health Alliance, African American Therapist Directory. Thank you so much for sharing those. Hopefully that will help everyone. Hey Tony, are you still on? Let's see. Yes. I feel like coming together as a community, right? We can stay in our small little bubble in our house, go to our stores that we're used to, maybe do some community events. But having the social media and having allies that we can support on and kind of talk to is great. I got y'all. I'm Greek, so I've never used any of those, but based on what I read, they seem helpful. Perfect. Well, we appreciate you sharing. That is ideal to come on this platform and be able to share things. Okay, so let's see. So when it comes to what was the other thing I wanted to share with you guys? Oh, so tomorrow, make sure you sign up for my live. I'm going to be posting the lecture tomorrow morning or this evening. And then during that live, we're going to go over the lecture and answer questions that you may have, because it's going to be on compassion fatigue and with all the resources. Oh, that would be cool. Post it on my page. Oh, I'm so glad I inspired you. Post it on my page if you create a resource, okay? This is how we started to create ours. Exactly. You know, I have found that this coming on and talking to you guys is forcing me to honor myself and to honor myself when it comes to self-care, and not necessarily putting more on my plate, right? We say the 92 percenters, we were supposed to be quiet this year and we wasn't supposed to do much, right? Well, that changed. Michelle, what other platforms can we follow you on? I do post all of the assignments on that I'm doing here on my YouTube studio, which is linked on my profile. I was thinking about actually starting a Google Classroom so that you guys could post there when you had questions about the assignments, but I haven't started that yet. So if you think a Google Classroom would be helpful for you guys to be able to get in a different platform to communicate with each other, you know, let me know, and I can get one of those. But I'm oh, perfect, Michelle. So yep, I'll look into doing that, but definitely follow the YouTube, because not only do I put the lectures on there, I also put the lives that I'm doing on TikTok. So I've done other ones. They're all posted on that page. Exactly. We never know what's going to happen on this platform, which is why I started the YouTube, so that, you know, it was in just one place. But let me make myself a note to do a Google Classroom, because I can definitely do that. Okay. Well, make sure you sign up to come on for the live tomorrow. Again, the lecture will be up, and then yes, we will be kind of talking about that. And I really want you to come with kind of stories about how your compassion fatigue, how you identify that you've had it. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to invite some of you to come on live with me. I think being able to have you part of the discussion versus just me reading your chats, I think is ideal. So know that tomorrow I'll be selecting somebody or maybe a couple people to come on live with me to kind of talk about experiences. The last night, oh, perfect. What time is the live? So it's 11 o'clock my time, which is Mountain Time. So that would be 10 o'clock Pacific Time, 11 o'clock Central Time, 12 o'clock Eastern time. Oh, thank you, Mac. Thank you so much. And yes, thank you everybody for showing up today. I'm glad I was able to still get on, even though I got to go to this birthday party. Because, this was important. I had this scheduled and really wanted to be able to come on and talk to you guys. So before we end this, has anybody done their self-care for today? For the self-care challenge? Did anybody do the self-care challenge for today so far? Did anybody pick anything? I haven't done it yet, so I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm going to do it before the end of the day. Oh, thank you, Mac, for sharing that. Okay. Oh, okay, you're Europe time. Okay. Okay, so when we come on tomorrow, I'm going to be expecting to see it on the post today. So for that self-care challenge, remember, if you participate in the self-care challenge and you do all 28 days, your name goes into a drawing. That is a buzzword. What does self-care mean? So for the self-care challenge on my profile, there is a picture of 30 different things that you will do over the month of February. You go to that sheet and you choose one that is a good fit for you. You do that one day, and then the next day you pick a different one. So go on that sheet. There are lots of different choices. Yes, a bingo sheet, Antoinette. That's right. So I put it out there for you because if you think about it, earlier in the week, I gave you a planner that said, I gave you a blank planner that said, I want you to create a weekly self-care planner for each day. It is hard to do that. And then I thought, I need to give you guys some things to think about, which is why you have 30 days worth to choose from. Okay, so I want you to choose those. You can have some of those on your weekly care plan if not, but make sure you post today if you want your name to go into the drawing. I was going to bring in one of those books I was going to make, but they're not in here right now. But I want to, I'm glad you like the challenge. I'm glad you do. So you guys have I'm glad you like the challenge. I'm glad you do. So you guys have a great rest of your day and be the lecture. And then join me for the live tomorrow. Okay. All right. Bye everybody. Oh, make sure you share my page and like all my comments and videos. And then share it with people who aren't in our class. I am open to having anybody join this class because I do feel like it is important not only for the African American community, but also for people who are maybe our allies, right? So pass it on to everybody, okay? Perfect. I'm so glad you're doing my challenge. All right, bye guys. Oh wait, what did Rob say? If they don't appreciate your presence, they can't appreciate your absence. Facts. Facts, 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 Rob. Facts. All right, y'all, I got to get to this birthday party. Bye.